I've sat down and spoken to Air Force pilots, commercial pilots, radar operators, who have told me about visual sightings and radar tracking of objects, performing speeds and maneuvers that we simply can't match. I mean, not just, it's a little bit faster than us, because then you could say, well, maybe it's just next generation stealth fighter, but orders of magnitude above and beyond anything we can do.
Some of these reports are of objects the size of a football field, the size of an aircraft carrier, slightly hovering. If we are to believe even some of this, does it represent some new kind of physics? Watch the full video. You be the judge.
We have the government insider when it comes to this matter, a man who has been called the real-life Fox Mulder, thanks to his work researching UFOs, Nick Pope. Nick, you're very credentialed, you've got a lot, your resume is quite expansive. Why don't you give me the nuts and bolts of it?
I worked for the British government for 21 years at the Ministry of Defence, and for much of the early 90s I ran the UK's UFO programme. So my job was to research and investigate the phenomenon and come to a judgment about whether there was evidence of any threat to the defence of the UK or anything of more general scientific interest.
And military personnel are not the only pilots encountering UFOs. We're actually going to listen to audio, FAA audio, of commercial airliners having close encounters. This first one takes place off the coast of Oregon in 2017.
You know that target south of the boundary there, that 0027 code moving very fast at 37,000?
Oh, look at that thing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Huh. And you don't have anything on him, huh?
I got nothing.
Well, look.
Yeah, it's United 612. It's just a white speck out there. I mean, we can see it, but there's no identification on it, just that it's there.
Where this guy ended up, we don't know.
Oh, so we still don't know?
No. The fighters scrambled. They went out looking around a little bit, but we lost anybody having sight of the aircraft.
Wow, that's weird.
It's really weird, yeah.
Well, this is typical of, I guess, the sort of case that interests me. A UFO where you're having this discussion, and it's not some friend of a friend story. We have the recordings. And for the skeptics who say that no one takes UFOs seriously, they scramble military jets to try and intercept this thing and get a look at it. And wait, what does it tell you when an F-16 can't catch something? Right. Then clearly it goes back to the point, speed and maneuverability. These UFOs, whatever they are, run rings around our best air defense fighters.
From your lofty position at the Ministry of Defense investigating UFOs, what are some of the mind-blowing realities about these observed objects?
Well, I think it's the speeds and the maneuvers. I've sat down and spoken to Air Force pilots, commercial pilots, radar operators, who have told me about visual sightings and radar tracking of objects, performing speeds and maneuvers that we simply can't match. I mean, not just, it's a little bit faster than us, because then you could say, well, maybe it's just next generation stealth fighter, but orders of magnitude above and beyond anything we can do. The idea that an object can hover, a huge object, you need an incredible amount of energy to keep something hovering like that. Some of these UFO reports, credible reports, pilots, military personnel, police officers, talk about objects the size of a football field, the size of an aircraft carrier.
No sound.
No sound.
They don't break the sound barrier.
Yep.
They're going Mach 2, 3, 4 to 10, no sound barrier, boom. No sonic booms.
It almost suggests a new physics, or rather, physics that we currently can't understand or replicate.
Okay, so the clip we're going to see here takes place over the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of Ireland between British Airways flight and a Virgin Atlantic flight, and of course the radar tower.
Any military traffic you got right now?
There's nothing showing on either primary or secondary.
Okay, it was moving so fast, in fact you can no longer see it, but yes, thank you.
Alongside you?
Get to come up on our left-hand side and then rapidly veer to the north. Being so bright light and then it just disappeared at a very high speed. We were just wondering We didn't think it was a likely collision course, we're just wondering what that could have been.
The Virgin 76 also saw that in our 11 o'clock position, two bright lights.
Say again?
Virgin 76, I saw two bright lights, 11 o'clock, seem to back over to the right and then climb away at speed, at least from our perspective.
Okay, we're passing that on now, thank you.
Meteor or another object making some kind of re-entry. Appeared to be multiple objects following the same sort of trajectory, very bright from where we were.
Okay, that's copied.
Glad it wasn't just me? No, yeah, very interesting, that one.
Okay, just so you know that other aircraft in the air have also reported the same thing, so we're going to have a look and see.
Okay. So, the thing that blows me away about this is the description of what they're seeing. They see two bright lights. The one pilot says it came up. She describes it coming up and then veering away at speed. And pilots are familiar with airspeed, what's moving, how fast, etc. When you've got multiple pilots exclaiming, this sucker is moving very fast. What's going on here, man?
Well, it's interesting because the main skeptical theory here is that it was maybe the burning up in the Earth's atmosphere of some sort of fireball meteor. But then you listen to the recording, you hear clear references to a change of direction. One of the references to the object veering away. One of the other references to the object climbing rapidly. It goes back to the point. It's not just the speeds, it's the maneuvers.
And again, there are dozens, if not hundreds, of these, examples of these. Let's take a listen.
Number 71 Papa Golf, go ahead.
And there was anybody above us that passed us like 30 seconds ago?
Number 71 Papa Golf, negative.
Okay. A UFO. Yeah.
American 1095, let me know if you see anything pass over you here in the next 15 miles.
You know if anything passes over?
American 1095, affirmative. We had an aircraft in front of you that's 37 that reported something pass over him, and we didn't have any targets, so just let me know if you see anything pass over you.
I don't know what it was. It wasn't an airplane, but the path was going the opposite direction. Hey, it's American 1095. Yeah, something just passed over us. Like don't know what it was, but it's at least 2,000-3,000 feet above us. So yeah, it passed right over the top of us.
Okay, American 1095, thank you. American 1095, can you tell if it was in motion or just hovering?
Make it out whether it was a balloon or whatnot, but it was just really either bright or had a big reflection on it, several thousand feet above us, going opposite directions.
Okay, Roger.
Was it a Google balloon? Tesla. UFO.
Okay, so another example of American Airlines pilot, flying through the air. I mean, picture this. You guys have been on planes. The audience, everyone's been on planes. Imagine your pilot in the cockpit going, "Whoa! Like, what was that?" And then calling the radar control tower and going, "Hey, man, did something just fly over us?" Radar tower says, "We got nothing." Right? We don't see a thing, right? And then they call in this clip, they call the airplane behind him and says, "Hey, this guy in front of you saw something pass over you. Tell me if you see something." Zip, it flies over him.
Now, the pilot there, interestingly, he wasn't afraid to use the phrase UFO. Most of them are, and I've come across many, many cases where people get around this by just using code phrases like, "We've seen an unusual aircraft," or "an unconventional helicopter."
The word UFO, you say it, people have a knee-jerk reaction that it equals aliens. UFO, aliens. It means unidentified flying objects. We've investigated, we looked at this thing, and we still don't know what it is. It's a UFO, it's an unidentified flying object.
UFO is, or should mean, simply something in our airspace that we can't identify. And of course, every government and air force on the face of the planet wants to know what's in its skies. Are there any threats? Are there any opportunities? Is it the Russians? Is it somebody else?
Thanks for watching this video. Click here to watch our playlist of short, credible videos covering all aspects of the UFO phenomena. And make sure you subscribe to catch the new content posted every week.